Just some really quick thoughts. Um, was reading through Genesis today, and I found a verse that really stuck with me. It didn't really stick with me. It's one of those verses that you see all the time on social media, and you never really think about it except for when you see it on social media. But then when you read it, it's like kind of profound. It's Genesis 29:20. It's so Jacob served 7 years to get Rachel, but they seemed like only a few days to him because of his love for her. Um, that is not in the Bible. I read, but that's just what the verse is. Um, I think that's really profound. Um, he loves this girl so much he works 7 years for her, but it only feels like a few days for him. And the whole story of Jacob and Rachel is really fascinating from like a philosophy standpoint, um, and how Jacob evolves throughout his life like that. It's really interesting, that part in Genesis. I went over it tonight actually, and the people I did it with did a really good job. So it was really insightful. But that verse particularly stuck out to me because I think it's really important to serve the people who you truly love. Um, and I think that's in all walks of life, from your significant other to your mom to the neighbor across the street. We are called to love, um, as to love our neighbors as ourselves. Um, and even if we work for them or do something that's hard for them, it should only feel like a few moments for us, because at the end of the day, we should always be putting others before ourselves. And I really meditated upon this, and it really stuck with me. It was really I don't know what the word is. Introspective. Oh, look at that fancy word, pulling it right out of my vocabulary there. Um, but yeah, I think I've lived a very selfish life. I've lived a very rude life, a very mean life, a very inconsistent life, and I haven't always put love first. I don't think, like, love for your fellow man. That like that being that that nice person. Um, it's something that I look back upon, and I read a verse like that. It's like, yeah, I need to be more like that. And I think as a young person, like, you know, especially like people my age, when they're like looking for a wife or a husband, like, you should be the Jacob to someone's Rachel, or like vice versa, gender wise. You know what I mean? Um, and then it's funny because I look at some of my friends, and we would do that for each other. We would work. I have really two close, really really close friends back home, and we would work 7 years for each other, and it would only feel like a few days for us. That's really perspective, really good perspective to have. I think that's the one thing that, even though I've been a rude and selfish, mean person, that I think I've done pretty good in that area when it comes to those two friends. You know, I think there's definitely areas like with my family that I could prove on, probably, and just like friendships and relationships, like, most certainly, like, everyone can, me including, me especially. I haven't been the very nicest person, and a lot of people that I probably should work 7 years for. I just, I'm very selfish. Like friends that I definitely should work 7 years for. Like, I haven't put that much time into. I guess it's you more to think about the verse, especially when I speak it out loud. Like when I do these videos, sometimes different thoughts come up. Like the more you talk about it out loud, especially one specific verse like this. But Genesis 29:20. Um, I have to improve on serving people for 7 years. You know, yeah, yeah. I think that, yeah, yeah.